List season rolls on. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler surveyed league execs, coaches, and scouts to rank the top 10 quarterbacks entering the 2026 season. Josh Allen, number one on the list, the only player in NFL history with at least 200 passing touchdowns and 50 rushing touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson rounding out the top five. And then there's Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Drake Maye, Jared Goff, and Caleb Williams at 10. Our own Dan Orlovsky gave his opinion on the notable omissions on X. Quote, not having Darnold is the miss, and Love, meaning Jordan Love. Other than that, good on the list. And once again, we'll reiterate, once you get past the top 7 or so annually, the next 7 to 8 guys are, for the most part, interchangeable depending on their surroundings. Pleased to welcome in the aforementioned Jeremy Fowler, Joe Fortenbaugh, here to break down this list. So you guys heard the top 10 names that we just mentioned that make it. David, do you have any issues with this list upon first look?
I'm with Dan. Jordan Love's got to be a top 10 quarterback. I mean, with the offensive line issues that you're dealing with, still first in the league and third and long, which, you know, they were behind a lot of those drives because of lack of offensive line. He was still third in QBR, second EPA per play. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and when things are rolling for him, he is a top 5 quarterback. I think Jordan Love is continuous. I know there's injury stuff that you have to deal with, but continuously being disrespected on these lists, he's absolutely a top 10 quarterback.
I like what Orlovsky said, but the second part of the tweet, I think it's you got 6 at Prescott, and then I think it drops off considerably because Herbert, Caleb Williams, 58% completions last year. Like, there's a lot of knocks. Those guys to me are interchangeable. Top 6 belongs. Biggest issue would be Burrow ahead of Lamar, which is like, what a difference a year makes. Last year coming into the season, we're looking at Lamar. We knocked the playoffs. Sure, we can do that for a lot of these guys, including the guy who ranks number 1 on top of the list. But he's got 2 MVPs. He was this close, and there's a great case to be made for MVP number 3, which Allen ended up winning. He's put up ungodly stats, and every time you talk to the players, who were not included in this from what I understand, the players routinely rank him as the top quarterback in the league because he's so difficult to defend. And yet now we move him to 5. Okay, fine, Stafford won MVP, Allen, Mahomes, I get it. But behind Burrow, what's his postseason success? Made a Super Bowl, yes, did not win a Super Bowl. On top of that, the injury concerns that plague Lamar plague Burrow just as much. So I think the 4-5 needs to be switched. Other than that, I mean, it's first take, so I could sit here and fight it all day, but that's the one that jumps out the most.
Before we get to biggest snubs, I do want to drill down on Burrow ahead of Lamar. What's your reaction to hearing scouts and execs rank Burrow ahead of where Lamar Jackson is?
So when it comes to winning in the NFL, it's all about playing in the pocket, being a precision. Kind of gets a pass. And it's interesting because some guys are injured, they don't get a pass. You know, we can get to the Jaden Daniels of the world that were top 5 last year. Now all of a sudden they're not even on the list. Burrow, for whatever reason, gets that pass, but it's because of what he can do and take over a game. Like, you talk to coaches and they're like, he's not in a system. He is the system. He's the guy you have to stop. He gets the ball out. He figures you out. So he's the closest thing to Tom Brady. That's why he's above Lamar Jackson, despite Jackson's great success in this league.
Okay, so the snubs now. You mentioned Jaden Daniels was on this list last year. He was injured last year, but he was in an NFC Championship game the last time we saw really high-level play, and then there's no Jordan Love, no Sam Darnold. In your eyes, who was the biggest snub here?
Yeah, because you saw Orlovsky's tweet. He's missing one guy, and that's Jaden Daniels, who was number 5 on the list last year. He's the player that when you talk to executives around the league, they point to him as somebody who's going to come back, who's going to be right back that high on that list if he's healthy. But it's a huge if because pre-draft 2 years ago, that was the knock on him. He's slender. Can he stay healthy and be durable? That's still a big question mark. But if he does, watch out. He's going to put up huge numbers. He's going to be right back on that list.
The upside there is fantastic. You saw it in year 1. But again, the injuries are the type of thing that's going to dog guys like him, but not dog Burrow, right? Like the list, and this is the thing, to fairness, because you're going to probably take a lot of unwarranted heat for this. It's not like you have all these people in a room, like voting for the Hall of Fame, where we're all talking about the same criteria and weighing it. Everybody's got a different way of looking at this. Some are going to value availability more than others. Some are going to value the playoffs more than others. So this is the tough list to put together. Daniels being so low while Burrow's so high, interesting. Hurts is the other one that comes to mind. A year ago, people were fighting Orlovsky being 1, and not to say he was wrong, about Jalen Hurts and how he's not getting his just due. Had won a Super Bowl MVP, cornerstone type guy. But he was also a guy who was probably ranked too high because nobody in the NFL had a better situation than him. Who else had a top 5 O-line, top 5 receiving unit, top 5 running back, top 5 tight end group, top 5 defense? He had it all, and he delivered with it. but now you saw it fall off a little bit last year, and now he's under the bus. I wonder if we've overcorrected that a little bit.
I mean, well, I remember last year you're saying like it ranked too high.
I thought too high for sure.
He was ninth last year. That was like DEFCON 1 around the Eagles. So I think that people thought he was way too low. All right, so do you agree with that? Was Jalen Hurts the biggest snub on this list?
In terms of people being off list, no, I don't think so. I would put the other guys that we mentioned, the Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, above Hurts. Like, I just think that there are some issues with he has so much talent around him. He is not running. They're not lowest ever in terms of his own design runs, which makes him that much more dangerous. So in terms of snubs being off, I would not put him there. But in terms of snubs that are on the list, I want to go back to this Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow thing. I just can't get over that because one thing that stuck out to me was that his lowest rank was unranked. There were people who did not have Lamar Jackson anywhere in the top 10 list, which is
really
inexcusable.
There was one.
Out him right now. Out him right now on TV.
That's right.
That's the end of your career.
You're right. There's no excuse for that. Mm-hmm. If people are going to say that Joe Burrow is the system, give Lamar Jackson that receiving core, right? Give a bunch of these other guys. He has the best receivers in the league right now. And maybe one of the best receiving cores we've ever seen. So you're going to have to log that against him a little bit. If I'm Lamar Jackson, the last few years have been the big three: Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson. And if I'm looking at this list, I'm like, what in the hell did I do to get put outside of that big three in the NFL? Because all I've done is had a couple of injuries here or there. I have not made the playoff. I've done as well in the playoffs, but neither has Josh Allen. It should still be us in that top three.
You covered Caleb Williams all year. Do you? 10, I think, is people buying the ceiling in the future, whereas the season was good. It was a good season, 58% completions. He was behind Dylan Gabriel in terms of completion percentage. Yeah. Dylan Gabriel was a rookie in Cleveland who only lasted a handful of games.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a ranking based on what's coming, whereas a guy like Stafford gets dogged because he's too old. If Stafford was 28 and did what he did, we'd have him higher
on the MVP season, no less.
Yeah.
But I guess I did want to get back into what you were talking about with Lamar Jackson. When you said there's one person who didn't even have a ranking for him.
Yeah.
What's the logic behind that, or what, I guess, explanation did you get?
So the criteria is simple. If you're picking a player in 2026, even if you're picking players on a playground and starting a team, who are your best quarterbacks? Now, the majority still feel like Lamar Jackson is right there. It's tough because this is a conversation about fear. If you're game planning against somebody, do you fear them? And Lamar Jackson is absolutely feared. The problem is 4,000 passing yard season in his career, which is 2024. So for better or worse, fair or not, some people didn't respect him as a pocket passer for years coming into the league. He did change that, but then he didn't build off it in 2025. And now he's getting to age 30. Can he run the same? Because when we talk about fear, that's where he scared you the most, is with his legs. So if he's going to be a quarterback that's not as fast as he gets older, then is he better than Joe Burrow? That's sort of the conversation.
I mean, he's still routinely, when healthy, topping the QBR and completion percentage discussion. This is a guy who I can't believe we're still having a conversation of does Lamar Jackson throw the ball well? This is the thing that he does. He
throws it great, but does he throw it better than these 3-4 guys ahead of him? That's the conversation now.
I think when you knock him for the passing yards, which is fair, because we have these certain benchmarks that we all feel like we have to adhere to. If you don't get the 4,000 passing yards, if you're not averaging 28 points per game in the NBA, things like that, right? But how many guys are beating him that are rushing for 60 yards versus him rushing for 900 plus and a series of touchdowns? That danger factor, I feel like when you talk to the players, they see this a lot differently than when you talk to executives, which is what you want. You want a well-rounded opinion, but he should be ahead of Burrow.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that, the caveat here is this is going into 2026. Who are you game planning for? What version of that quarterback are you game planning for? Which, when you think about Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes at the moment, Patrick Mahomes is coming off of an ACL tear.